Hi, everybody. We are live today, season 2, episode 14. And I've got two distinguished gentlemen with me. Glenn from
Is
New
there someone
York.
else I don't see? Distinguished. Oh
Absolutely.
crap. Hi. It's thank you for the invite. I needed a break from this holiday season. It's got me by the balls.
And Andrew from Dial Square to Where. How you doing, Andrew?
How are you both? Yeah, I'm very well. You?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good. We're going to have a
Good.
couple more guests. Of course, the co-host, who's always traditionally a little bit late, Matt here, and Hopes will be joining us as well. But anyone watching, get involved in the comments. This is our first year anniversary. So believe it or not, we did this thing. We started the 23rd of December last year, and tomorrow will be the anniversary. So I wanted to give props to all the people who have come on the show before, the podcast before. Andrew, you've been quite regular, so thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for having me back.
Glenn, if you can remember, we did a phone in with you. The theme was an
Yes.
ice cream truck, if I remember.
All right, you. The quick version of that story is you weren't using this Google thingy that we're using right now, and it was just like kind of audio. And I was outside of my backyard to get away from my kids, and the ice cream truck stopped right in front of my house, and I had to watch my language. It was very funny because it was blaring, and everyone knows that sound, and everybody all of a sudden had this craving for ice cream. It was very funny and a little awkward, but that's the story. Now, you don't do this outside. Like Andrew right now is on his phone, but he's smart enough to be in the house.
Yeah.
Right, Andrew? Oh, did
Exactly,
he freeze it?
yeah.
Oh, no, there he is.
I've had to lock myself in the bedroom though and shut the door. Just
Yeah, I got
out of
two
a noise
locked.
from the screaming kids.
I got two locked doors between me and the kids, but they're like that Friday the 13th guy. They'll bust them down and come in here.
Like,
But hopefully
You're in
not.
the panic room, are you? You're in the panic room.
Panic room.
I'm in the basement next to the boiler. So if all of a sudden I do this, call 911 or whatever. But yeah, I'm right next to the boiler. So just to get away from the kids. But it's better than being outside with ice cream trucks and whatever else. And and the worst part about that ice cream incident was, I'm a very loud guy, so I'm dropping F-bombs like 20 feet away from these kids in front of my house.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Of course.
I didn't.
And Glenn, we cannot pinpoint what point that season was in because all of our results were pretty bad back then.
Oh God, I don't know about you guys with the way Arsenal is right now. I mean, I'm more optimistic now, and I know you're going to get to this, but I just can't watch other Premier League games. I just can't. It just depresses the shit out of me. I'll watch highlights, but when we're this terrible, it's just like I'll watch a game, I'll be like, oh man, I remember we were that fucking good.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Sorry, I don't mean to rain on everybody's fucking Christmas. Oh
Hey.
shit.
Hey, something good happened, Glenn. Something good happened.
What?
Arteta's being appointed.
I know. How did you I don't know about you guys. I'm being completely honest here, but in the build up to it, I'm like, no, we need a guy with experience, not fucking Arteta. And I did that right up until the press conference. And he turned me right around. It was one of the best pressers I've ever seen in my life. If we hired like Pep to be our manager, I pictured him saying all those fucking things with that demeanor and that intensity. So Arteta sold me in one press conference.
Yeah, Andrew, you could tell that he's been by Pep's side for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. But I still think he's going to be his own guy, and he came across so well. And my mind was turned, funnily enough, after listening to the Arsenal Vision podcast, listening to Tim Stillman, and Clive on that, and it was a real eye opener. When I listened to that podcast, and I had the not complete transformation. I wasn't disappointed when it was all talking about Arteta, but I had a lot of reservations. But a lot of those were put to bed when I listened to that, and then when I watched the press conference, just complete confidence in the guy. It came across so well. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this appointment. And when you see Ransom Bance, the old Man United fan on Twitter saying, I really hope they don't back him because he looks like he's going to be an absolute world-class manager, then you know that you're onto something good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, if putting in him against Ancelotti, there's only one winner for me. I would much rather have Arteta.
Yeah, and Ancelotti's a coach, an accomplished coach, but he's on the way down, maybe. Arteta's on the way up.
He's as unproven as Arteta is in the job that we actually need doing.
Yeah.
In lots of ways, because we need to be rebuilt from the ground up, and all of our players need either to ship up or ship out, basically, because they, we need a whole new squad mentality building. We need some players need to be sussed out and moved on if necessary, and I don't think that Ancelotti's the guy to do that. So I don't think he's going to do particularly well at Everton either, to be perfectly honest. But I don't give a shit about that.
No.
I'm really confident we got the right thing.
Yeah,
really confident we chose well.
A lot of I wrote down the key points from the transcript, guys, and a lot of great words. Started off happy and proud. He's been preparing for years. He knows the expectations and the level and the stature of the club, and he's ready, and he has a sense of the club, and he has a good vibe about things as well. So he goes on to talk about accountability and culture and working with the players. Andrew.
Yeah, he's very much said that it's non-negotiable, everything that he's going to be looking for, and that was probably the best wording of the whole press conference when he said it's non-negotiable. They either do it or they are not going to fit into this new culture, so they're going to have to be moved on. And that was music to the ears.
And it's obvious that Arteta has not just made an impression on the supporters, because today his first practice, none of the 11 that started the game were there, but who was the first player on the practice field? Ozil. He realizes, hey, I better get my shit together now. At least right now he realizes it. I know I would like to see him move on, but since he's here, it's nice to know that he was one of the first people on the practice field today. And so we're not the only ones that Arteta is impressed. And I don't know if you guys saw any of those camera shots of Arteta in the stands during the game, but he looked between pissed or like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Those were the only two expressions I saw from him during the game.
Also, Andrew, forgive me. Also, when Aubameyang was coming off, I noticed he was watching very intently for body language. Go ahead, Andrew. And Arteta. Sorry, man.
I think. Again, not that I care, but Ancelotti looks even worse. Did you see him? I mean, he looked half dead, and he looked like he needed one of those injections in his heart, like in Pulp Fiction, to bring him back round. To be perfectly honest. So it's good that he looked like that, Arteta. It's good to me because if he was sitting there looking happy, then there's going to be an issue, isn't there? But no, he's very. I mean, he's a little bit. He's got a little bit of serial killer about him, living on his own with all this stuff all over his walls.
Jesus, serial killer. I thought you were going to say intense.
No, it's like when you read the report about him living on his own with all these cuttings about statistics and tactics all over his wall. He's like some kind of demented guy, but he's preparing to be, one of the best managers. That's, you can see he's very single-minded. He wants to be recognised as one of the best managers in the world, like Pep. And I can, with his attitude, you can well see him becoming that. And I just hope we see it fairly quickly. And I hope that if that becomes the case, that we can hold on to the guy rather than City nicking him back off us, to be honest. But anyway, that's looking too far in the future. But I'm very, very happy with everything that has transpired since he was appointed. It's just so incredibly encouraging.
Yeah, all right, I can't disagree with any of that. No, I can't disagree with any of that. I can just parrot what Andrew just said. Well, all I can add is intensity instead of serial killer. And he has this intensity about him. I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm just busting your chops. If I turn
I
this
can just
camera,
see someone knocking his door down. You know, the police outside with one of those baton things, smashing his door in, and you know, it's like on that film Seven with Brad Pitt or something. You know, you can just see Arteta in the corner stitching together a suit out of someone's dried skin.
Frankensteining
oh
two
my
players
god,
together.
how did this go from
Oh yeah.
Arteta to Gwyneth Paltrow's head in a box? How did that happen?
I think when the two of you get together, you get there pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
liked Andrew right away. When I met Andrew, I liked
Gwyneth
him right away.
Paltrow's head. It wouldn't be Gwyneth Paltrow's head. It'd be Granit Xhaka's head in the box, probably.
Nice.
Oh, that's another thing. Go ahead. I don't want to take from your show, but I want to talk. I hope we can talk about Xhaka before time's up.
Oh, we will for sure. And you're
Okay.
here. You're here for that reason to talk, Glenn. Okay, so feel
Yeah, but
uninhibited.
you're the one. You're the host, so I want to follow you. I'm sure you have a game plan
right.
written down there.
I absolutely do. But since you mentioned Ozil, you started this conversation, right?
Okay.
So, do you think that Arteta can get a tune out of Ozil? He knows how he ticks. That's what he said. He knows what makes him tick.
I think if Arteta does that, he's even more amazing than I think he's going to be, because I think Ozil is only good on a team that is great, if that makes any sense to you guys. He has to be on a great team to be himself. You know, if you're relying on him to get that winning goal, you know, you're going to have a divided fan base like we do now.
Yeah.
I think if anyone can do it, he's going to do it. I mean, they used to play together in the same team, and if anyone can do it, he can. Ozil's very, very much the kind of guy who needs an arm around the shoulder, like Wenger used to give him. He needs to feel special, which, you know, some players do. Let's face it, some players do, and he will know what buttons to press to try and get the best out of him, but he's not the same Ozil anymore. Let's face facts. But if he can be somewhere close or a lot better than he has been, then we'll see the benefit of it. But there's strong talk about him going in January. If that's the case, fantastic. But I can't see it. I can only see him staying until his contract runs out. Although I think it'd be beneficial for the team if, come the summer, that we just buy out his contract, because I think he's on about 15 million a season, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere around that figure. And it might be worth paying that just to say goodbye and get rid of one of the last pieces of the old Wenger regime, really, and start afresh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Stan the man made me laugh because I didn't even know what he meant by that comment about Ozil's pants. But
his behavior was pants, so not liking his behavior.
Oh, and someone also posted, did we see the Watford Manchester United score?
Yeah,
like I said, I don't. Who won the game?
Man United won. No, Watford won 2-0.
Watford won 2-0.
Holy shit! Okay, like I said earlier, I don't know if I.
Glenn, you're like the guy in the coma. You've missed so much.
No, I told you, dickhead. I told you.
Dickhead.
I told you when Arsenal is playing this way. I'm sorry, I called you a dickhead. Merry Christmas.
No, that's that's my 1-year anniversary gift.
Now I forgot my point. Oh, I probably said it off the air, not on the air. When Arsenal's playing this shitty, I have a tough time watching other games, because I look at it like we used to be that good. So that's why I didn't know. I'm not in a coma. Arsenal depresses me so fucking bad I can't watch other games. I sit there and I play video games. And yell at my kids.
I got you.
All right,
Andrew. To your point, Dan the man brought up a very good point on our last podcast. The whole issue with China and what's been going on with them, and what calling out China. Maybe the club will be actively trying to move Ozil on now because of that political situation.
I think they've been actively trying to move him on for about 4 years, to be perfectly honest, with very little success. So he's going to have to come to an arrangement. We're either going to have to give him away for free, which is worth it if we say it, but the other club will obviously have to take over the whole of his wages. Otherwise, what's the point? We might as well keep hold of him until the end and see if Arteta can get a bit more out of him. But if we can get rid of him and get rid of his wage, then it's worthwhile. But it's easier said than done, isn't it?
If Ozil leaves, it better not be because of that whole China thing. I mean, that would infuriate me because of freedom of speech. Look, you got to realize he probably thinks, okay, because of my celebrity, I can point out this thing that is really bothering me. But I learned a long time ago, I'm an old fucking fart. Publicly, don't talk politics. Just don't. All you're going to do, people have all their own little bubbles they can climb into. So I want Ozil to go as bad as you do, Andrew. But I do not want him to go because he spoke out against that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking any sides either.
No,
it wouldn't be because of that. It's purely we need to move on. We need to move on. He needs it for his own career. We need it to move on and sort of become a different team. And like I said, he's one of the last parts of the old regime of the Wenger time, and we need that sort of attitude completely gone out of the dressing room and start afresh, and that'll be a massive step forward if we can get rid of him.
Plus, Andrew, it could be difficult because Arteta had played with Ozil toward the end of his career. It could make it difficult for him.
Yeah, exactly.
It always bothers me. It always bothers me when we say, "Oh, he's 31, he's washed up," because then I just feel like ordering a coffin for myself. But Ozil will be good on a team full of superstars where he isn't the centerpiece. I'm repeating myself, I know. And what's that noise? Is that me?
No, it's absolutely fine. Good
noise.
evening, gentlemen. Sorry that I'm late.
Hello, sir.
Man. Hey, Glenn.
Nice to see you.
Andrew, you guys okay? Ready?
Very good.
All good.
Very good, thanks, mate.
Hey, Maher. Welcome in.
One just said it's 13.5 million to buy Ozil out of his contract, so it's even less than I thought. So I think that's got to be done in the summer if we don't sell him in January.
I mean, Andrew, we need to totally revolutionize basically everything. Glenn, even basically the whole team. We need to revolutionize. I mean,
transform.
I've been a critic of Ozil for a long time now. I mean, I've even said he's only had truly basically one good season in all the time he's been at Arsenal, which is putrid. Really, really, honestly, it's putrid.
It's a shame because if you... Sorry, go on, Glenn.
This all starts at the back. Yes, we all know about our defense, but you know what? To me, the main problem is we never replaced Santi Cazorla. That we never replaced him. Santi in his prime right now would instantly make this team much better for us, and we never replaced him when he left.
You know who could do that though is I mean, I know some people think it's controversial, but I think that Ceballos could be that guy. He needs
Yes, I agree. See, this is why. Go ahead.
He needs to play in front of the back four. He needs to be the one that retrieves the ball from the back four and beat the press, and he'd be perfect for that. And if we could get him fit and firing, which if there's anyone that can do it, again, with his tactical ability, it's going to be Arteta. He's going to be a big player for us if we can keep him. But I think if we are also resigned to losing Aubameyang to Real Madrid, if we can get him and Jovic plus a bit of cash in exchange for Aubameyang, that's an absolute no-brainer as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
because
I genuinely
think that Ceballos is going to be a really, really good player.
Andrew, what's your timing on that? Would it be summertime or January?
It'll be summer, I think, unless we can strike up some kind of deal in January potentially. But I would think it'd be more likely summer. Personally, I don't think a deal like that. It's too complicated. If you're going to involve players and cash, it's too complicated to get it done within that short window.
That's the only time I disagree with you, Andrew. 30 days, you sit down with someone, and talk fair to them about what you want to do, swapping players, swapping money. You got 30 effing days to do it. I'm sorry. That's enough time to do something in
We're
January.
Arsenal, though. We're Arsenal.
I know, yes, we're Arsenal. You're right.
We don't do anything quickly, anything at all.
Isn't that funny? I went on for like 30 seconds. He shot me down in 1 second. We're Arsenal. Next. That's it.
That's the answer to every question, Glenn.
Literally, just listen. Just go and sit in a corner and think about what you just said, Glenn.
All right, I'll be quiet for a minute because I feel tremendously stupid right now.
He's probably in sitting in the corner
Arsenal.
Yes.
with your back to the
Arsenal,
wall.
I mean, Everton, they fired their coach. Ancelotti came in the next day. We fired our manager, put poor Freddie in. Get in there, Freddie, do something. Okay, who should we get? Here's 16 people. Let's discuss. Fuck you! You should have had it ready when you fucking fired, what's his face? Good evening.
Yeah,
I already
good
forgot
evening.
his name.
Mr. Emery.
I already forgot his name, Emery. A little too much eggnog, I think,
All
for
right.
me.
So Glenn would like to sell him in January. I'm summertime. Andy's summertime. What about you, Mahir?
Absolutely. Try and,
Absolutely what?
you see, for a minute I was confused there, but then I realized we are talking about Aubameyang.
Aubameyang.
You know what? It looks like we're trying to structure our team around it being a very young team. It may not work out, but then again, it could. I mean, bringing in somebody like Jovic for a 30-year-old Aubameyang plus cash, I mean, geez, that would seem like a steal. I would like to hope that also Ceballos, when he comes back into the team, has a good run in his preferred position. And, hopefully we can improve. But I mean, from what I've seen recently, Andrew, Glenn, I'm sure you guys would agree with me where we say we don't expect anything from any matches, even playing the small teams, whether it's in Europa League, whether it is in the Premier League.
With any confidence, I think you're talking
with any confidence at all. I mean, I've like not worn my Arsenal jersey for a while now because I'm not seeing anything that's made me want to put on the jersey with pride and be out in the streets, guys.
Let me add on to that for you, Andrew. And Arteta talking about needing to raise the confidence in the players and also raise the spirits of the fans. This is part of the press conference. And in doing that, we can lift the spirits of the whole club.
I think that, I don't know whether I was alone. Well, I had a few people agree with me, but after the match yesterday, it was an incredibly boring match, as we all know.
Yes.
But there was a lot of positives in the fact that you have to understand we defended it an awful lot better than we have been. We are not giving up a million shots a match anymore, but we were. That was horrendous to watch. We were literally giving away shots every minute or two. It was just peppering our shot with goal with shots rather, and that's not happening. And we're generally passing the ball around a little bit better, but not penetratively. So we're not creating much opportunities for our front players. But that is a big step forward. We have to agree that the first clean sheet in 15 matches is something to be able to sort of have a foundation to build upon. Now, I think if we can just get that, a bit of confidence back again, a bit more zip in our passing, a bit more speed and pace, and one shot to fly in, that could all change everything overnight because we are defending better, so we'll be able to hold on to our leads better.
Yep.
And I think I don't think we're too far off from starting to win a few matches.
Exactly.
Not, smashing teams at the moment, but we are not far away at all. I don't think we're starting to win some matches.
Real quick, let me go. We all look at things differently. That's what's so unique about being an Arsenal supporter. For me, yes, that game was fucking boring. But I thought we showed extra hustle yesterday that I have not seen in a while. Our defense played kind of decent. And guess what? I'm 99% sure of this stat. Everton had no shots on goal. That's something to be positive about. That's something to be positive about.
We can take out the positives, but we can also take out such things as how many shots did we actually? I mean, I would have loved to
I
see.
checked on the stats, man. Here, Everton had 6 attempts on goal, and you're right, Glenn. I think only one of them was on target. We also had
Oh, I
six
said none,
attempts.
so I was wrong.
No, we also had 6 attempts with 2 on target. So we're balancing now. We're starting to balance instead of going 3-1 or 4-1 ratio.
Bearing in
Although
mind, we had a very, very young team as well, and we had Saka at left back, who
Yep.
was really impressive. You know,
yes,
it's only his second time he's ever played there in the first team. And he was thrown in at the deep end, and he did ever so well, bless him.
He
And
scared me a little bit, Andrew. Being on the yellow card, I was a little bit worried a couple of times with Duncan Ferguson trying to also lobby to get him sent off.
that's exactly why I think he did really, really well. You know, lasting the rest
Yeah.
of the game after
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
That's a big job for an 18-year-old who's
Yeah.
a winger. So yeah, after I was very impressed. And Torreira, although he's still wandering a little bit, he was a bit more focused on his defensive duties and wasn't sort of going up front too often. He was had a good game. Chambers was outstanding, I think, yesterday. He under a load of criticism he's had lately, but I thought he had a very good game, and I thought the partnership with David Luiz was good. They looked pretty solid yesterday. People still go after people for no reason, without sort of any real justification. Still go after David Luiz, but I thought he made a lot of good passing yesterday, and I thought he was pretty solid with Chambers. So yeah, I think overall we have to take some heart from that, because it was an extremely young team we fielded, and I think things are only going to get better at the moment, because let's be honest, Freddie Ljungberg has with very, very little help and with very few training sessions, he's got us more defensively sound on his own. So with Arteta starting work today, getting everyone back in on Christmas Day as well, it's only going to get better. Only going to get better from here. So I'm feeling a lot more positive.
I want to put out this question to you guys. Do you guys think that Torreira will come right eventually? Like, would he become would he be able to up the level of himself and Arsenal in as a whole? You know, or do we go on and sell
Well,
him?
no,
Go on.
I'm a little biased because he's one of my favorite players, and I believe when he's used right, like he is Uruguay, he's a hell of a great DM. So no, I would not sell him.
I agree with you,
Only
Glenn.
issue I've got. Sorry, go on. Sorry, apologies.
No problem, Andrew. I agree with you, Glenn. He is going to only blossom, I think, under Arteta, who has played in that role before and knows everything he needs to play to help him in that position. He's a full international. He's excelled on international duty, and in some ways, Emery was trying to extract more out of him because he was one of the better players on the team. He tried to make him compensate for the deficiencies in midfield. So definitely, Andrew, I think that our Torreira can blossom under Arteta.
Yeah, there's no doubt that he could. He's looked a lot happier the last couple of games as well, being played in the right position. I think you can tell that he's been playing with a bit more, confidence and a bit more enjoyment really in himself. But the only issue I've got with him is his mental strength. I'm really hope that I'm proved wrong, but I think he's a bit mentally fragile as a player. And you have to have. I mean, a lot of being a professional footballer is up in your head.
What makes you think that, Andrew?
Because there's no smoke without fire, and we keep hearing over and over and over again he wants to go back to Italy. That doesn't come from nowhere. That worries me a little bit. And if he's not moaning about wanting to leave, he's crying. So there's an issue there with me, and it does worry me a little bit. And it may sound a bit pedantic, but you have to be extremely strong mentally to be at the top elite.
Are you talking about in Baku in terms of crying?
He's done it a few times. He cried when Xhaka came off the pitch.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up now. And
go ahead. Go.
Go, Mahir.
I don't know. I don't know. You actually on to Andrew's point, you have to have a very very strong mentality, especially when it comes to wanting to be an elite player, part of a bigger picture, a bigger rebuild. Because, for example, with us, as badly as we need Torreira, I mean, you can't be doing such things as crying when Xhaka gets taken off or Xhaka gets booed.
You
You're like,
can't.
oh, but
I
like
don't remember
as
that. I
we
didn't
can
see
see
that.
it, as we can see it.
You can't be doing
No,
that.
he
You,
was
I
like
mean, you
literally
imagine
in tears. He
Graham
was
Souness,
like
clearly.
somebody died.
Are they
No, but you
roommates
know
All right,
or
I
what
what?
have
the
to.
problem is? You know what the thing that worries me about him wanting to leave is that I think early doors that I mean, and this is completely my own thoughts, my own opinion. It's
That's
not
why you're
based
here,
on anything
Andrew.
else. But he all the rumours about him wanting to leave lead me to believe that he's not confident in his own ability to be a very successful player in the Premier League. He's more confident in his ability to be a more of a top player in Italy, and that's why I wanted to go back there. And that's what I think, anyway. And it's a
Yeah.
concern, and I really hope to be proven wrong.
Okay, my
Lombard
head's gonna
Camp.
explode. Well,
Lombard
now
Camp
stop,
said,
stop, stop, stop. It's not over yet because I don't agree. All right. First of all, the last time, about a year ago, Torreira was talking. There was talk. Oh, I don't like the weather. Oh, I can't learn the language. And he waited days and days and let this shit fester in the media. And then he finally came out and said, no, it's not true. All right. He's a fucking knucklehead that doesn't get out in front of stories. And he hasn't gotten out in front of this one either yet. All right. The last time I heard from him about being happy in the UK, he said it was all bullshit. And until I hear him say, yes, I want to leave, I'm so upset about Xhaka and the weather and the language, then you can sell him if he doesn't want to be here. I want to hear him say it, just like I want to hear Aubameyang say it. That's it. Did you guys rate Torreira last year? He was fucking Superman last year when he was used the right way. And I say, keep him, use him the right way. And if he complains about the weather, cries about fucking asshole Xhaka, or can't learn the language and is crying about that, then you can fucking go. Okay, I'm done.
It was good for about 12 games last year. Apart from that, anyway, apart from that, there's no smoke without fire, like I said, with regards to those rumours. And if he was, his agent keeps saying those things, why doesn't he turn around and show some balls and say, stop fucking saying these things about me? I don't want to leave. You know, he's allowing his agent to go to the press. He's allowing his agent to do that. And also, when you mentioned about Aubameyang, why does he not say to his brother, fucking stop putting this shit on Twitter, please, because you're ruining my career. And he's not, though, is he? He's not.
You have any brothers? Can you control them? My brothers wouldn't listen to a fucking thing I ever said.
He's a hanger-on to Aubameyang. He's a nobody. Aubameyang, he's hanging on to him because he earns 12 million quid a year. So Aubameyang should just say, if you want to keep, just shut up. You know, you can go to court to do these things if you need to.
Stop creating controversy.
There's no way that there's no substance to the rumours of him wanting to go back to Italy if he doesn't stop it with his agent. He's in charge of his agent.
I just think he's a knucklehead. That's what he is. He's a young knucklehead that doesn't realize just get out in front of the fucking store and shut the fuck up. He has not been used in his right position. Even if that's the reason he wants to leave, if he spoke up, everyone would call him a traitor and for saying that in public. We're not flies on the locker room wall or whatever the fuck you call a locker room in the UK. We don't know. Dressing room? Okay.
Yeah.
We're not a fly on the dressing room wall.
Weak mentality, that's all.
Glenn, I'm with you on this one. If you're in a job and you're not doing your job, your boss wants you to drive a forklift instead of packing boxes, and you're happy packing boxes, and you're good at packing boxes, you don't want to drive a forklift. So that's what's happened to Torreira, I believe. He's been misused, but now he sees light at the end of the tunnel, I believe. As to the crying, I was solely focused on Xhaka coming off the field. Yes, I remember Torreira. I didn't think he was crying, Mahir. I thought he looked sad. Now, definitely,
Stan, yeah,
he
Stan
cried
just said
in
now his
the
eyes were
Europa
bone
League
dry.
final, but that shows that he cares as well. Losing an
Look,
effing
This is a little
final,
And
girl.
go ahead, go ahead.
Matt
you know
here,
the funny
losing an
thing is,
effing final, you're gonna cry.
I mean, who wouldn't be? I would be absolutely heartbroken. Don't players play for that? That's what they come. That's what they come into teams for. They want to reach finals. They want to win uh, any type of cups, whether it be the Carabao Cup, whether it be Europa League, whether it be the Premier League. I wanted to say, coincidentally, Ray, you just said, like your boss wanting you to drive a forklift and pack boxes. That's exactly what I do. That is actually my job. So just coincidentally that happened. But yeah,
It
man,
struck a
guys,
chord
like
with you.
look, there's a lot to look forward to. There is a lot to look forward to. But like Andrew said, the game and Glenn just said the game was absolutely shite because we haven't been seeing. I mean, even 1-0 to the Arsenal. I would even just love that right now, as long as we can
Yeah.
get a few wins.
But Andrew, let's come back to the Everton game. I agree with you. A 0-0 draw is a good basis to start the Arteta era off with. And I was very, very heartened. It seemed like a lot of the young players, if they lost the ball, they're working back to get that ball back from a very poor Everton. It looked like as well.
Yeah, definitely. We just, like I said, we're just lacking that zip in our passing. Just taking that second or two too long, taking one touch too many on occasions, and we have lacked, you know, very good coaching. That's obvious. And now that we've got a good coach in place, then we should start seeing differences in our performances sooner rather than later. Not straight away overnight, but soon. I'm quite confident that
Mm-hmm.
that 0-0 draw, the better defensive performance, the clean sheet is a fantastic foundation to start building from.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I'm pretty.
I agree with a lot of that. I agree with a lot of that. And Rising 101, I agree with you that they're playing Torreira out of position. He wrote that in the comments
Yeah.
earlier, and I just jotted it down.
Yeah.
You know what? Everybody forgets Everton was an informed team as when we went in there, okay?
Yep.
And we were hustling all over the park, and Ancelotti was sitting there in the stands cutting old man farts, and we did well.
And that's why he was
well.
shaking his head. Oh, I hope Ken Fryer or Ken, whoever, didn't smell them. Not Ken Fryer.
Can you blame him the way Everton played? But they were informed, guys. They were informed coming into that game. We hustled around the pitch. We did a few things right. I'm with Andrew on this. I'm okay, happy with that performance. It's something to build on.
All right, Mai here. What did you think of yesterday's game?
I mean, I literally missed out on first half. Asked the guys to keep me updated, and they said nothing really happened. I mean, we were playing position based. There were a few good moves here and there, but essentially the whole game was devoid of a cutting edge. Like Andrew just said, a cutting edge where we just go for the jugular. Lay it out all on the line, which we've been crying out for, I don't know how many weeks, maybe 2 months, maybe a month. We've been crying out that they go all out, even if it means losing, putting everything out on the pitch. So we can just see that. We want to see fight, we want to see passion. Before we go into Freddie Ljungberg as a topic,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know from
Mm-hmm.
you guys, Andrew and Glenn, would have Arteta been your first choice? Would he have been your first choice?
No.
And I mean, even though we have to back him now. I mean, he's our manager right now. But you guys are saying he's not your first choice. I mean, the whole being being with Pep Guardiola, but he
Yeah.
hasn't had any managerial
I
experience. I would have loved for an actual coach. I mean, would you have taken Ancelotti over Arteta?
Yes, I would have. Yes, I would have. And I would have been what it appears I would have been wrong, because I did not see that intensity in Arteta,
Yeah.
But I'm terrible to ask about this. Back when, before Unai was hired, when people brought up Brendan Rodgers, I was like, ew, no way.
Yeah,
So
I was
I'm a terrible
exactly
person to
the
ask.
same way.
I've been wrong 2 times in a row.
Yeah, to answer your question, Mayor, and then we'll go to Andrew. He would not have been my first choice. And I'm going to say, when everything works out in 2 years from now, we're winning titles, hopefully, you're going to hear all these Arsenal supporters said, he was my first choice from the start. No, you got to own
Oh,
up.
man, bro.
Own
There's
up to it. It's not
evidence.
mine. But you know what? After that press conference, I came around to it even before then, started to look at the positives in it. And I'm very, very encouraged, Andrew. Very encouraged.
I hope he's just not saying all the right things. That's all.
You're not Andrew. Your name is not Andrew.
Well,
Apologies, Andrew.
if Arteta's not a serious
Oh,
badass
Andrew,
coach,
shut up.
And your name's not
Not
Andrew
your
either.
game. Not your game.
all right, who got
Right.
Andrew all riled up?
Anyway,
If
my first
Arteta is
choice
not
was-
really...
Shut up, Glenn.
Shut up, Glenn! Okay, I love a good British gal.
Rafa Benitez was my first choice, as I've let everyone know.
Me too.
I would have loved to have Rafa Benitez. But yeah, I'm happy to say that my mind was changed. Like I said, I was never 100% sold on Arteta, because I had too many worries. It's not like I said I do not want him under any circumstances. It wasn't that wasn't the case, but I did have many, many concerns. But I'm happy to say that at the moment, my mind's been completely turned around, and I don't think we could have had a better choice, to be perfectly honest. Absolutely delighted with him. And let's not forget that the Hoffenheim manager 4 years ago made a massively, massively brave decision and hired Julian Nagelsmann, aged 28, to be a manager in the Bundesliga. That was a massively brave decision, and he got repaid several times over. And look at what he's doing now. He's just working wonders, and he's still only 32. So Arteta has been researching this role for many years. He's only 37 still, but there's nothing to say that he's not going to be a success just because he's not worked before. And let me just add one more thing. Experience is extremely important if you're going to go in as a manager as well. But when you're coming in as a head coach, it's not so important. It's your knowledge that's important, because you're only going in to train the team and coach that team to do certain things. You're not going in to actually run the football club.
Exactly.
So it's a little bit less important to have the experience going in as a head coach rather than a manager.
He's still
That's
Andrew. He's
important.
still got to put out. He's got to put out a system, a formation, and make adjustments within the game as
And
well.
have a team behind him as well. Andrew,
That's
I
a
love
lot
that
easier
point
to
that
do
you
with the
brought up.
knowledge. Mm.
I love that point that you brought up, because I think they did the same thing with Pep Guardiola before he started becoming an elite coach, and Ten Hag, who's, if I'm not mistaken, at Ajax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the knowledge is important when you're doing tactical changes, deciding how to combat the team, and deciding on obviously the formula for a successful team. It's you can do an awful lot without having. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong, right? In an ideal world, he would have had a bit of experience in coming in, but it's not as important as being a manager.
Okay.
Because when
And
you're
you
a
have
manager, you've got a whole lot of other things to think about.
When the job
think
comes
about-
along, sorry, Andrew, when the job comes along, you have to be ready for it. And that's what he said. He was preparing himself. He took the coaching badges when he was still with Arsene Wenger. He started all of that. He's prepared himself. Think of the ambition to get out from underneath Manchester City and go to Arsenal as well, Andrew.
He's put his whole career on the line, really, hasn't he? And he said himself, I wouldn't be sitting here now if I didn't feel like I was ready. So I think that you can do an awful lot of preparation for coaching, and out on. I mean, let's not forget as well. He's been Pep Guardiola's number 2 for 3.5 years, and he has been out on the training field, putting these things into practice on the training field, not on the live match situation. No, but he's got 3.5 years' experience of actually coaching and training players, and he's been widely given the credence for training and making players better, such as Sterling. It's actually been put down to him.
And Mane
as well.
Sane. I always say Mane when I mean Sane.
So he has got experience of being a coach, not for the first team, but he has got experience of doing it under the best of circumstances.
Yeah.
So there's he's not going in completely cold. Let's just remember that as well.
Hey, Glenn.
One of the things that I think we need to keep in mind with Arteta and decisions that he'll have to make and his responsibility is that he gave Arsenal a list of demands he wanted, things that he wanted before he said he would be our coach, manager, whatever you want to call it. So I'm fairly confident they're going to back him in transfer markets because although you can't get Arsenal fans to agree whether it's sunny or raining out, most Arsenal fans are behind Arteta right now. He's got that power. Plus, he made demands. He said, listen, I want this, that. I want you to see. So let's all try to be confident. I'm not telling anyone how to think, but all signs are pointing to yes, as the Magic 8 Ball used to say.
And we're going to get into that segment next. But one last thing from the Everton game, and we did talk about Aubameyang. Glenn, I'm going to go to you first. Does Aubameyang seem disinterested? We had 15-20-minute period in the second half.
No, that's unfair. That's unfair. I think this is all fueled by the supposed media story that he's not happy. Whether he's happy or not, I would make that deal Andrew was talking about earlier. Absolutely. But no, I think that's unfair. No, everybody was hustling yesterday. He missed a chance, Aubameyang. He also had a chance to make a key pass, and it was a shitty pass. But you know what? We expect miracles from him every fucking game. No, I have no problem with him, and I think it's unfair to say he looked disinterested. That's speculation.
All right. Andrew or Mahir, take the same question.
I think he's not been the same since he became a captain. He's not had the same mentality since then, which is strange, maybe completely coincidental, but it's something not quite right with him at the moment.
He needs to see that the direction is good for him, Andrew. He needs to see things are going in the right direction, hopefully, with Arteta.
Yeah, I just think he wants to go, personally. Same with Lacazette.
Andrew, if he doesn't want to go, if he doesn't want to go and he signs a 2-year contract tomorrow and talks all the right talk, would you still make that deal? If he signs a 2-year contract, holds up the kit, says all the right things, would you still send him off in that supposed deal?
If he signed another contract, I'll keep him for another year because he would definitely help us get to where we want to go.
Appreciate your honesty.
We can't just. I've made it fully aware that I don't want to sell him anyway. To be perfectly honest.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Sorry.
Till the summer at least.
Yeah. We are going to find it hard to. We're going to find it hard to replace his 30 goals a season.
Yeah.
It's simple. Yeah. As simple as that. You're going to have to pay more out than you get in to replace those goals. So it doesn't make sense because we've got very strong short-term goals. And we're not going to do it this season, but next season we've got a good shout of getting in the top 4. So if we can get another 30-plus goals out of him for next season, it's a no-brainer for me. But if he does want to go and his mind's not in it, I'd rather get rid of him now. Simple as that. Or when I say now, I mean either in the January or in the summer.
Mahir, really quickly, what's your take on the Aubameyang situation? Then we'll move on to the next section.
Okay, very quickly. May sound very biased, but I mean, I do love Aubameyang and the qualities he brings to our attacking force and with all his goals. My thing is just if we can keep him, I agree with Andrew, maybe keep him another year or so. But essentially we would have to invest in another striker who's also going to cost a real lot. So maybe keep him another season, let him bang in another 20, 30 goals. Let us love him just a little bit more before he leaves. But if he isn't disinterested, if he wants to leave, cash in on him and buy somebody that wants to fight for the badge.
London Old School asked the question. We've already addressed that. Andrew and I would like, and I think maybe Mahir would like to keep until the summertime. Glenn maybe is in favor of shipping him out. Am I right, Glenn?
You couldn't understand me through all the yelling? No, I would not sell him. But if he wants to leave, then I would make that deal.
Yeah. Obviously, player power, Andrew, rules.
Yeah, unfortunately so, which is a sad fact of today's football. But one other thing, if we can get another year out of him, then I've got really, really high hopes for Nketiah to be a similar type of player than him, to be in the right place at the right time in the box. If he could have one more year to progress on loan, hopefully, if he stays on loan where he is and gets more first-team football, he can have a season in the Premier League with them. If not, a loan somewhere else for another year with more football than he's been getting so far. But I'm really, I can see an awful lot in Nketiah to be a similar type of player, being in the right place at the right time in the box. And he could be he could quite easily replace a lot of those goals, but not quite yet. So if we can get another year out of Aubameyang, that'd be perfect as far as I'm concerned to pull him through.
I agree, because Aubameyang does not have the proper support. We're not getting the best out of some of our players, and everything Andrew said, I just would like to say I agree with right there.
Yeah.
I've said several times we can't judge an awful lot of these players on this season so far.
Yeah.
They've been played out of position. They've been in terrible form. They've been changing formation every week. It's just been a nightmare season. So it's very hard to judge a lot of them.
And the other thing is, I'm excited to see if Arteta can unlock Chambers a little bit more, because I always liked Chambers. And I saw this stat earlier this morning: is our only 2 clean sheets on the road this year. Chambers has been as a cornerback. So I know you call cornerback something different in the UK, but that's the only 2 clean sheets away from home we have this year. And he was a fullback in both of those games. I really think there's more to unlock with Chambers and a few other players too. So I'm not ready to sell off everybody. You telling me January? I want Xhaka gone. I know he had a decent game yesterday, but he has not properly apologized. So get the fuck out. And Mustafi back to fucking Bundesliga, and then Ozil too. Those are the 3 I would like to see leave in January. And I'd love to hear you guys, if in a magical world we could get rid of 3 players in January, who would it be?
Xhaka gone. Xhaka gone.
Xhaka Khan. Mahir, do you know Xhaka Khan?
Yes, I do. Very well. He lives next door to me, actually, in South Africa. But guys, I think I'd have to go with exactly those players. Maybe even there was one more. There was one other person I was thinking about. I don't know if it was David Luiz, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Kolasinac.
We need Kolasinac. He would be a candidate, but we need Kolasinac.
No, we need him as a backup when Tierney gets over whatever the fuck's wrong with him now. His shoulder or arm or something.
Well, one footnote to the discussion we're having on the Everton game, Andy, and Aubameyang discussion. I'm a little bit worried about Martinelli. Are we overplaying him? And he doesn't seem to get the protection from the referees. Fullbacks are playing him pretty hard.
I think he's at the moment he needs to play. We can't play him every single minute of every game. At the moment, he's only 18. He's got all the energy of a gazelle at the moment. As long as we don't play him in every single minute of every match, at the moment, he needs to get the experience. Yeah. And ideally, he could just be replaced after 60 minutes, maybe, of some games as well. However, his natural replacement at the moment, Saka, is playing at left back. So we're really, really short of decent options. But he's our best player at the moment. And if you're good enough, you're old enough. And he is showing everyone else the way at the moment with his attitude and mentality and confidence. And without him, he's more important at the moment in current form than Aubameyang, because Aubameyang's been pretty terrible the last few weeks, if we're honest with
Lacazette
ourselves.
as well.
So,
No, I wouldn't let Kolasinac go. On a perfect squad for me, he's a squad player. With just two injuries every fucking year. It doesn't matter who the manager is or what's going on. We just get killed with injuries every year. Yeah. And I rather have that insurance policy of Kolasinac. For especially Tierney looks a little brittle. So, yeah, I would not get rid of Kolasinac only because we're so thin back there.
Thanks to everybody in the comments. London Old School, Stan the Man, Loneberg Camp, and a few other, to name a few.
Oh, everybody in the comments section was right on. I was giving them thumbs up as I was reading them. You guys were right on today.
Don 1, Rising 101, and I want to give credit to people coming on. Harry Robinson as well. So thanks for coming in. Let's move to the next section. Who wants to talk about Arteta starting today? Arteta gets down to work today. You seen the pictures?
Yes, and I read the recaps, and I laughed when I saw Ozil was the first. I said this earlier in the show. I laughed when Ozil was the first player on the pitch today for practice. Someone's got to light a fire under his ass. He's here. Someone light a fucking fire.
Well, I think he wanted to give his teacher's pet apple in today this morning. That's why he wanted to get in first. Look how dedicated I am.
Again.
Don't pause when I give short answers like I have more to say. I come from a radio background where you can't talk. Fuck you, dickhead. All right, go.
Wow. You're handing them out for free today.
I say that, Andrew. I say that.
I think you should be used to me and Glenn by now.
Andrew, I say that with all love and respect. You know how much I love you.
You know I'm only taking the piss.
Yes, I do. Go on, guys. I'm sorry. Just don't be shocked if I say 2 sentences and shut up. My wife says I talk too fucking much.
You know what, Glenn? Fuck you, Glenn.
What? I'm sorry, what? Somebody say something?
Not here.
Yeah.
Arteta.
I've seen the videos.
Started work today. They're on the training pitch.
Look, yes,
Glenn.
Go ahead,
Glenn. I had such a good laugh today. I saw this video of him going into the management room, and he's like, "What's happening? Have we got drones? Where are the cameras placed?" And I had such a damn good laugh because even something like that is very positive. Already wanting to know whether we can get video footage. As much as a laugh of it, as funny as it is, it's a good sign. It's another stepping stone. You understand?
Oh, I completely understand. I completely agree with you. I love it. Loved it. See, you guys are being quiet again after I talk. What do you want me to yell every time I answer a question? It's not going to happen.
I was just trying to reply here to London Old School. I was like Father Ted kicking the bishop's arse. That's what we need Mikel Arteta to be doing.
It's fantastic, man. We fucking love the energy that Glenn, even Andrew, the energy that you guys bring. It just brings more people into the conversation. Andrew. They want to join the family. You understand?
Yeah, Mahir, do you remember Glenn and the ice cream truck?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Why don't we talk about that?
No, we have. Listen, it's fantastic. Look, we are a family basically. We are all brothers, and the more people we can bring into the family, and the more conversation can get rolling. It's just more and more content, and we don't do this for the money. We do this for the passion, for the love of discussion. And for the love of our club. You understand? It's the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, stand
fucking disappointed if you were doing it for the money, weren't you?
Fucking it's funny. My family knows when there's an Arsenal game, they look at the final score before they come downstairs to ask me for shit because they'll know what mood I'll be in. They can ruin my whole weekend. I know it's a sad thing to say, but I know there's others in the same boat with me. I'll be fucking miserable when they lose. I fucking love the club, and I love. Yes, but I love the fact that we're such a family, We're talking across an ocean here. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Technology is a great thing.
Guys, I've got to go in a couple of minutes' time.
So do I.
Andrew.
Due to family situation. So, anything
problem.
else you want to quickly go through before you lose the
Yeah,
start of the show?
I wanted to talk about the caretaker managers. I was very impressed with Duncan Ferguson and also what Freddie Ljungberg had done for the club. So you start, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved Duncan Ferguson. Even when he was a player, he's just got such a good attitude. Even though he's been done for GBH 4 times and been to prison for punching a fisherman and headbutting a policeman, he's got all the attitude that the club needed at that particular time to bring them through that difficult period. And with regards to Freddie Ljungberg, I mean, I don't know whether you saw, I was having a right go at Ollie Holtz, the journalist, online yesterday on Twitter. What a complete numpty. I mean, Freddie Ljungberg as well, he did so much better than people realise to get us through that situation. And after every match, the day after it, each game that we've had, bearing in mind he's had a game every 3 days, the first day after it's a warm-down training session, so you don't go through tactics and formations and drills. It's literally a warm-down session. Then he's got a day. Then the next day, if it's a home game, fine, we've got a light training session. If it's an away game, we travel that day. So he's had very, very few actual training sessions with the team to get it set up the way he wants. And in order to have got the results that he's had defensively, because from the moment he took over, we almost improved overnight, really, with regards to shots allowed on our goal, which was a massive worry that we were already concerned about, having 20 to 30 shots a game against us. That almost stopped straight away. And that was a big positive. And although that we, again, like I mentioned earlier, we haven't had the real attacking sort of prowess apart from those few minutes against West Ham, etc. We've kept the ball better. We've had better ball retention, and I think he's giving the team back to the new guy Arteta now in a much stronger place than it was when Emery left. And although we would have all loved a bit more of a new manager bounce, I think he's done a great job, and I'm really hopeful that he's going to stop on with the club. I would have loved to, hated to have lost him. There's talk of him going to Malmo, their head coach, and I hope that's a load of old rubbish because I'll be really disappointed if he does go.
Yeah, I hope Arteta has the gumption to keep him around. Glenn?
Look, Freddie came into an impossible situation and did a decent job for all the reasons that Andrew listed so eloquently just now. He needs some seasoning as a manager because of some of the substitutions I saw him make, in game. So if he really wants that job, Andrew, I would feel bad that he left, but I'd understand why he left. He loves Arsenal. He maybe in the future, once he's a seasoned professional coach / manager, maybe he'll come back. But you're not going to get me to say anything bad about Freddie because I have the utmost respect for the man.
And Glenn, I think he wanted to integrate some of the younger players to give Arteta a basis to know what those players.
Oh yeah. If Unai Emery selected that lineup yesterday, I would have got on a plane with a lit torch and came on over to the UK and done a whole Frankenstein's march on the castle thing, because that lineup yesterday, my initial reaction was I was fucking pissed, but I was like, no, it's Freddie's last game. Just let it play out. I didn't say anything publicly.
Yeah. Final comments before the two of you are out of here.
Glenn, I think I've got a slight lag. I do apologise. I didn't actually do that one on purpose. I thought you'd finished. But one thing before I go, I was absolutely over the moon with what he said about Ozil in the press conference as well, saying that he was got a slight knock. However, he wouldn't have brought him anyway because his attitude is not that of what we
Yep.
expect at Arsenal. And I think that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Spot on. Yeah. I love how
So,
honesty Andrew, I love how honesty was with some of the things that he said. I mean, even later on, such as we need to get a manager, an actual manager in. I actually need a team, or the next coach actually needs a team of people behind him, management staff, backroom staff. And that honesty, how much do we appreciate that so we can actually know what's going on? It's priceless.
Yes,
oh, it's,
I
it's
agree
complete
again.
chalk and cheese to what we had with Emery, isn't it?
Yeah, absolute
Thanks
change.
to both of you for coming on. Really, really appreciate
Much
it.
appreciated, guys.
I
Much
know
love.
you two
Oh,
have to get out of here.
yeah, I
I
had a
really
blast. The
appreciate you
footsteps
having
are
me on.
getting closer. It's like a fucking horror movie. The footsteps are getting closer to the second locked door. So
Well,
I
you can
had a
probably hear
blast,
Ryan
guys.
already.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I will talk to you all again soon.
Thanks, Glenn.
Andrew, I hope I have an invitation for your show on Wednesday because I look forward to talking to you. Are you?
Well,
Oh,
Wednesday's
Wednesday's Christmas. You're
Day.
not doing a show.
I'm going to do one on
All right.
Friday, so
Well, let me know.
I'll be.
Give me some notice and what time because I'd love to be on if you're inviting me.
Yeah,
don't
we all
wanna
want to
assume.
see. We all want to see that Bournemouth game on Thursday. What happens?
It's gonna be interesting,
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
to say
I-
the least.
Thanks for
we're
having me on,
gonna
guys.
win the next.
No, thanks.
We're gonna
Much
beat Bournemouth
appreciated,
and we're gonna.
Andrew. Much
People in the
Cheers.
appreciated,
comments,
Glenn.
Take care.
stay with us
Take
in
care.
the
See you
comments.
soon.
We're going to continue. Glenn and Andrew,
Take
thank
it
you.
easy, guys.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Thanks,
Take
Glenn.
care, bro.
All right. That was explosive, honest opinion analysis
Whew.
of everything that's going on with Arsenal. There's a lot more going on with Arsenal, but we like to stay in the positive zone,
Oh,
here,
of
and
course.
keep it like that.
Of course, bro. Look,
So
that was a fantastic show. I mean, of all the topics that we went through, I mean, sorry I came in late, guys, to everybody watching this on the rerun.
only
But
13 minutes late this
whew,
time.
only 30 minutes.
The co-host is supposed to be a little bit late, right?
Little bit, he's given a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
But
Um,
look, up and up, man. Ray, look, I honestly hope he can prove us all wrong in what the risks that are being taken,
yeah.
especially right now with all the problems. I honestly hope he can turn things around and become a
Very,
up and
very, very,
real,
very.
real
I'm
coach.
feeling very, very positive about it, and a lot of things that's going on with Arsenal right now are not positive. So let's maintain that. Lombard camp. Arteta's success depends on if he can back up his talk and whether the players back him or not. Very, very true, right?
Also, whether the board back him or not, because he's going to need at least how many players you're saying? At least three
At least
defenders.
three. We would like to get some cover, left back and right back, and maybe a central defender as well.
And Saliba's coming in as well, so which means that would possibly be four, like maybe a whole different back four, like almost like a
Um,
reserve back four, but somebody who can also become a first choice. You never know
give
who it
give
could be.
me your take on the press conference. What you liked, what you heard, what you liked.
You know what? Personally, I love the positivity that he's relaying on us and the honesty because, as we just discussed just now before Andrew and Glenn left, a lot of the stuff were lies. It was just good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and that's all it
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
And it was always a bad evening for us all,
yeah.
always.
Can't help feeling
And
though, Matt, here that the players had a huge part to play in that. Once the players start talking in the dressing room about a coach, the end is near.
yes, that's very true, Ray. I 100 million% agree with you
So
there.
Art,
But also,
I think Arteta is going in there with his eyes wide open. He knows what he's got.
he looks he looks to have gotten knowledge from Pep and
Yep.
almost a sternness where they were saying, like when he was playing with Ozil, when he was in the midfield as a player, they were saying He may have seemed like a very chilled guy, but when it came to being a leader, I mean, he was captain also.
Yeah.
He was a leader. They said he was a leader, not even in inverted commas. They said he was a leader in the dressing room, which
That
I really hope he can. I really hope he can pull out that with this team and
London old
improve.
school had
Yeah,
said he learned his trade
having
as a
that.
player under Wenger and as a number two with Pep. I think if the board back him, he could be successful.
You see,
And Don
because
Juan says Arteta did manage Manchester City game against Leon in the Champions League because Pep had a touchline ban.
okay, thanks, Don Juan.
But
Bit of something I didn't know, bit of information for other people also didn't know. My only gripe is I just want to see this work out. Even if we have to go back to 1-0 to the Arsenal, Ray, let's just do that. Let's just go back to 1-0 to the Arsenal.
um, I'm glad somebody knows who I'm talking about with Father Ted. It's hilarious. Father Jack was the best. Drink, girls, feck. And if you haven't seen Father Ted, you got to check it out.
Yeah, you guys have to check it out if you haven't seen it.
Do we not play with fullbacks or under 23s? You never heard of any. Yeah. Great comments, Dan. And
Lovely
London Old
stand.
School says we need a strong physical defensive midfielder. So, Mayer, let's just quickly go through the press conference because I did take copious notes here. Like I said earlier, he started out by saying he's happy and proud, preparing for years. He's been preparing for years for this opportunity. He knows the expectations and knows the level and stature of the club, and he's ready. And he has a sense, good vibe about this thing.
I mean, that's it's you know what I love? You know what we love as Arsenal supporters? Honesty. Honesty, and if you can back up your imagine he backs up the talk and everybody gets behind him. Not only the fans, not only those who didn't want Arteta, such as myself, we said wasn't going to be the right manager at all. Um, how we look like real, I'd look like a real idiot if he is successful. He manages to bring the team together, the fans
Mm-hmm.
together. What I don't want to happen is an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer vibes situation,
Yeah,
basically.
I think he's got more about him than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's more intense. Um,
No, but what I'm saying is, I just don't want it to even come to a little bit of I don't know what's the word for it, man. I got it on the
fruition.
edge of my tongue. Fruition. I don't want it to even become a little bit true, where it even becomes a
Yeah,
little bit of a
yeah,
situation like that, where we go on a run, for example, everything's all PG, and then everything goes, mind my language, tits up,
it's up.
and yeah, tits up,
Well,
and
let's
everybody turns on Arteta.
yeah, let's continue with the press conference. He said that he told the club when he was leaving, he's going on the outside and he's going to learn and prepare. Hopefully, one day he would come back, and so he has been chosen to come back, ready for the challenge. Um, what he noticed was a huge change to the club when he was at the Manchester City, when he was with Manchester City, and they beat us 3-0 last week. The club was down after the City game. He did mention that he looked at the faces of the fans and felt really, really bad because he saw Arsenal was in a bad situation
Who
after that
wouldn't feel
game.
heart? Who wouldn't feel heartbroken?
Yeah, yeah, and he's got an affiliation. Arteta looked around. He knew he wasn't going to get into the Barcelona team. We're going back in his history now as a player. He knew he couldn't get into the Barcelona team because he had Pep Guardiola ahead of him, who was the captain at the time, and he had Xavi. I think it was Xavi or Iniesta ahead of him. He knew he would not get into that Barcelona team. So what did he do, Mayer? He went to England. He went to Rangers. He went to Everton, and finally he found his home in Arsenal, a club that he always wanted to play for because it had very much similar values to Barcelona.
A lot of prestige.
A lot of prestige as well. He knew he probably wouldn't make a career at Barcelona, the next best club for him in England was Arsenal, who were playing a brand of football very, very similar to Barcelona. I'm thinking back now to when we beat them in the Champions League with that Arshavin goal. That's the way Arsenal played
Yeah.
years ago. Our younger viewers may not remember even those days, you know. So he goes on to talk about the players must accept a different process. This is important here. A different way of thinking. We must build a culture so that in the difficult moments, when the tree is shaking, that the players can deal with this culture change. He needs to convince everyone this is how we're going to live. So I think one of the comments Lombard Camp maybe said we need to breathe this every minute of every day, and this is the way the players are going to live now. And Glenn, I think, said Ozil was the first one into training today. So hopefully, this is a new way of going forward for the Arsenal team. And Arteta said these are the number one priorities to build a culture. Got any comments on that, or should I continue? He goes on to say, need to raise confidence in the players and raise confidence in the fans because if we can lift both things, we can lift each other. The fans can lift the players, and the players can lift the fans.
I mean, essentially, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
You need to play for the
So
fans.
we were all very, very heartened by hearing all of these things. He said he needs to know and understand the players. He needs to sit down, talk to the players, and look in their eyes and find out what's been going on with every individual player. He's also going to do the same thing with Freddie Lundberg and understand. He didn't say it would take 5 minutes. He said it would take 8 hours, and they would need a pot of coffee,
Some
not just
really
one
strong
coffee,
coffee.
a big pot of coffee to talk about what's been going on. He goes on to say, "We have lost our way, and he needs to understand the history of the players, implement certain small things." So what he's saying there is he's not going to bring in wholesale changes to the way we do things. He's going to tweak a player here and there in terms of what they're doing wrong.
But that's what they need. Certain
Absolutely.
players need boot up the backside, and
I,
others just need a hand around their shoulder, basically.
yeah. Mahir, I've got this underlined. Everybody is watching on playback and live. This is very, very important. This is underlined by me because I think this is the most important sentence in what he said. Everybody must feel privileged to be here. There is no other way. That's the most important line to me. Everybody must feel privileged to be at Arsenal. There is no other way.
Do I even need to say anything more?
No, no.
Absolutely not.
There's only 11 players that can play for Arsenal every minute of every game. And yes, that rotates through a squad. Only one at any one time you can only get 11 players on the field. Those 11 players must feel the most privileged players in England, in London, in the world, and that's the only way to move forward. So that's very important to me. Moving on, he says he learned from Pep Guardiola. The two things he learned most from Pep Guardiola was to be ruthless and to be consistent, bringing a winning mentality.
We've always said consistency is key with
Yeah.
whatever you do. Work, life, football, and football is their jobs.
He goes on to say when he's asked about experience, of course, he understands people will doubt him because he does not have experience. And there's only one way to get experience, and obviously he's doing it in this job starting today. He goes on to say he feels like he can help Ozil, and he knows how he ticks. With time will tell on that one. We shall see what happens. Uh, 18 months ago was not the right time for him. Um, and he believed in Wenger and Arsenal as a close style to Barcelona. So I've already said that. The last notes I have from his press conference and interview is accountability, and he needs to look in the players' eyes. Uh, there's no, and here's a very, very important one. If there's no buy-in from the players, or if there's any negativity around the club, it is not good enough for this environment.
Why would you want to make the situation worse
Yeah,
by bringing in, players' negative attitudes
negative attitudes will not be tolerated,
at
and
all?
there must be buy-in from all of the players. And he's going to know within the first few training sessions. He's probably watching the players who are in little cliques right now. Like, not to criticize, but the French speaking players will hang around together, like Guendouzi, Lacazette, and Aubameyang.
Mhm.
And you have maybe the German speaking players like Kolasinac, Ozil, Granit Xhaka. They
Yeah,
will
man.
stick around together. Maybe Bernd Leno. Here's one question for you. The captaincy. Do you think he makes someone else a captain now?
You have to stick by your decision.
Yeah,
You
he can
know,
make a decision to pick a captain.
we called on Lacazette as captain. Did we not say?
You and I.
Uh, yeah, you and I. I don't know. There was a few choices actually, and I don't know if Obama. I don't think Aubameyang was one of them. I think it was like fourth in line or third in line. But he needs to strip this whole five captaincy bullshit.
Yeah.
Push that,
There
push
there's
that
gonna be
way back.
one. There's gonna be one captain and one vice captain, and that's the way it
One
has to be.
captain, one vice captain, and I would say maybe a third who can fulfill that role in games that, for example,
Yeah.
that we have gotten banned
How
for
about
too many
let me
foul.
throw this out to you. Bernd Leno as captain.
I like that. I like that. I never gave it much thought before. I think it may have
No.
popped up once or twice. I never gave
You
it real thought,
what
but
you need
that's
what you
actually
need
a
is
great shout.
a player who's gonna play every game and who has excelled in his position and puts a level of consistency into his game that's higher than most of the other players. So hoping that Bernd Leno maybe can be that player, or um,
If we had a
does he
goalkeeper
keep
as
does he let Aubameyang keep it with all of the controversy that's going on right now?
look, I honestly don't know. You need to play for the badge. If you don't want to play for the badge, come up with all these complaints and stuff, please. Just rather
Mm,
just leave. I've
yeah,
become so numb to it. I can't even get angry. I love the passion that Glenn shows. I love the passion that Andrew shows.
yeah.
Even Richard. Any of our other special guests, Stan the Man, the bearded Kuna, everybody else, the passion that they bring when they're explaining. But like I've become so numb to it. Look how calm I am when I'm talking about serious matters.
I want
I've
you to
become
see the passion. Bring the passion back in your life here. Um, so listen, I'm very, very heartened by what's happening with Arteta. I can only see positive things moving forward. I think we've hit rock bottom right now. Very, very happy to see Jose Mourinho
always
looking quite sad today.
the only way is up, Ray. You're right. I think right now we should just back back our players, especially back Arteta. I've said I don't want Arteta, but now that he's here, let's see the positivity and stuff. Let's just bring everybody, unite everybody, and let's just boost, man. Let's just see what happens in the next few weeks.
Yeah,
His first game is going to be, like you say, versus Bournemouth on Thursday. So this is going to be really interesting to see the players he brings in, who's his starting 11, what type of formation he uses, and just if he can get them to all band together and just play for the badge, basically. Put it out
for
all on the field, man. Let us see everything. Let us see absolutely everything. Even if you have to lose 2-3 nil to a small team, let's just we just want to see fight. We just want to see heart.
Yeah. Shout out to London Old School,
Who's still with us?
still with
Love it,
us.
bro.
Um, Deepak Patel, Deepak Patel. Thanks for coming in. It's too early to name a captain. Yes, it probably is. Maybe
Probably.
he's gonna look, but we just have to. It's on our minds, and we have to talk about it. And we're here to talk about all things Arsenal. Thanks for the comment, Deepak. Thanks for coming in. Trying to look back at Tottenham's recent results, and I'm trying to verify the level of coaching Jose Mourinho is going to bring the club, Tottenham. And yes, I'm not. I'm more worried about our own results, but they lost to Manchester United now, and they've lost to Chelsea today. Just trying to see the level that they're at. They lost to Chelsea. They beat Wolves in a last minute um, goal from Vertonghen last time. They've beaten Burnley quite handily. They lost to Manchester United. So that's kind of the level. They're not really beating top six, top four teams. So I don't think Jose Mourinho is a manager that has a lot of life in him with Tottenham right now. So moving forward, Chelsea won today. They are 9 points ahead of us. Very, very leery about mentioning if we can maybe eat into that gap a little bit. 9 points off. You're telling me to stop talking right now.
No, no chance. I'm saying no chance.
No, yeah,
No
yeah.
chance. Let's just leave it
Top four,
right now.
top four out of the question.
Unfortunately, we'd love to be optimistic. Ray,
Yeah,
you, myself, everybody
yeah.
else in the chats, all our subscribers, any new subscribers as well. We'd love to be optimistic about there being a slight chance, but right now, even in our darkest hour, we are only a few points behind the scum.
Yeah,
London Old School. It's funny. The scum's loss today shows why it was good we didn't get Jose.
Jose. Yeah,
Deepak, thanks for joining us also, and staying with us in the chats until the very last minute also. It's much appreciated. The funny thing is, let's try and focus. Like I said, let's just try and focus on ourselves right now. I mean, it's very amusing and it is funny to see Chelsea, United, etc., all faltering
altering. Yes.
quite badly also. But
Yeah.
then again, it can backfire on us because we are not doing the business.
No, we're not there yet.
We're
But
not there yet.
we do we have hope? I've got hope.
Yeah, right now, we have to just right now we have to hope.
Look at it this way, Mahir. Jose has gotten a certain level of consistency out of them, but they're
Mhm.
not beating top four or top six teams, so they're pretty consistent. Man United can lose to the worst and beat the best. They've beaten Manchester City,
And lost to Watford.
lost to
I mean,
Watford,
it's
so
weird.
it's very very weird. And Chelsea have been inconsistent. If we can raise our level to get some results together. And it's going to be very, very difficult. Let's look at the next three games. We all know the next three games for us. Um, the day after Christmas Day, it's Bournemouth away from home, and then we have two home games against those two of those teams we talked about, Chelsea and Manchester United at home. I can't read your lips.
Sorry, I'm using very vulgar language there, guys. I'm sorry. We'll just put a sensor bar over my mouth and over my face also because you can see it. But against those two scummy teams, um, I mean, if we don't have any we could get 12 points.
I love your
I don't know.
optimism.
That's very optimistic. I
We can
love
beat
the
Bournemouth away
optimism.
from home, I hear.
Look, I really hope we can do that. That
We
will
can beat
be
Bournemouth.
a good start for Arteta. I would love that personally. And then not going into the next two games with any hope, not any hope as per se, but like confidence
Yeah,
to say we're definitely going to win the game or we're going
yeah.
to beat one of the two teams. So anything that comes from those two games, I mean, it would be fantastic if we could beat the living daylights out of, or even just get a 1-0 win on either one of those two teams, or
Yeah.
like Thingy is saying, 12 points from those three games
12 points
would
from probably
be.
4 games. I don't know who we have after that.
Let's see. If I'm being realistic, out of those three games, let's say we get 4 from 9 or 6.
7 from 9.
Is it 7 from 9? Three and
Yeah.
one and
Two
one.
wins and a draw.
Ooh, that would be a madness. That would be
It's
a madness.
fantastic.
But I won't stay top four is even within reach after that.
No,
Having
you're
that
not there
happen.
yet. We're in
Because
10th. We're 11th place right now.
like I'm not like we're not shocked anymore. 5 to 6 points is more realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, London. That's why we discussing amongst ourselves. Look, I mean, I would love 7 points. But two draws and a win. I mean, I take it.
Exactly, Deepak. Why not? Let's take it slowly. If Arteta can get a win, he can inspire this team to a win against Bournemouth, and we play 2 games at home against top teams, admittedly, in Chelsea and Manchester United. But who says we can't start off and turning
Who
things
says?
around? And then the fourth game in that sequence will be Crystal Palace away from home.
Ah,
We're gonna bring it up to 90 minutes here, folks. I
yep.
want to give a shout out to London Old School, Deepak for coming in. I'm gonna go through the whole roll call. Stan the man, thanks for coming in. Don Juan, Boots TX, Lumber Camp, who was with us earlier. Rising 101,
Harry as well.
and Harry Robinson. So thanks for coming in, everybody. Let's take a moment to wish everybody. Um, First of all, thank you to all of you for 1 year. Tomorrow is our 1 year anniversary. We started this thing out 1 year ago on the 23rd of December, and we're here. We're still here, my here. We're
We're
still here,
still
my
at it.
here.
We're still at it.
Stan the man, I'd be happy with a clean sheet away at Bournemouth. Stan, thanks for the shout out on Twitter as well. Um, Very, very much appreciated. You are all part of the podcast. And I don't know if you saw my here. Stan has come on the podcast as well. We're very, very welcome. Very, very thankful to have him on the podcast as
Oh
well.
yes, of course. Many a times, him and even Bearded
London
Corner.
Old School, Deepak, any of you, we say this all the time.
Nothing but love.
If any of you want to come on the podcast, find me on Twitter at Arsenal Circle. DM me and let me know if you want to come on the show. I want to wish everybody a very, very happy Christmas, a very Merry
Definitely
Christmas,
Christmas
and a Happy
with
New
your
Year.
family, and you guys
And
enjoy it to the fullest with your families.
if you
And
want to send out a wish, a seasonal greeting right now, my here, in
yeah, I just
any kind
like
of language you want or any
uh,
kind of way you want to express that.
like Ray just said, to everybody that celebrates Christmas, hope you guys have a fantastic one. We love and appreciate from the bottom of our hearts all the support that you guys have shown us, been with us from day one, and it's just growing and growing. We hope to grow together, bring more content, bring more conversation. If you need to get into touch with either of us, you can get into touch with Ray on Twitter or on
At
even
Arsenal
here on
Circle.
Arsenal Fan Circle, our channel, with your host and your co-host. Your co-host as well, you can get hold of me on Facebook under Gundit News. And like let me know guys, if you want to come on the show, if you want to be featured, if like, any of those, all of the above, all of the above is possible. So I want to wish you guys a
I love that, Deepak.
fantastic Christmas. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everyone, except if you're Cronky. Hopefully, hopefully they're going to bring you some Christmas gifts in the form of some January transfer dough. Dan the man, thanks for having me on. Much appreciated. And you'll be on again, Stan. No worries.
Oh, love
Like
it.
I said, many people like to tune in and watch us. If you are ever interested in coming on the show, let us know. But we're also very happy that you do watch us. You choose us as a opportunity to watch something about Arsenal, and dare I say it, a positive spin on what's going on with Arsenal. We'll always try to be positive. We will analyze things if they're bad, but something we always do, Matt, here is we don't always come on straight after the game is over. We allow ourselves a little time to calm down,
To cool down, yeah. To calm down.
and we're not that channel, and we shall continue in this vein. And everybody has a choice if they want to watch us. We love it. If you don't, it's your choice. And that's kind of what's going on in the Arsenal universe right now.
At
Everybody
the
has
moment.
don't hate on anyone. Don't hate on
No,
anything.
we have
If
to
you don't
respect.
like something, don't watch it.
Don't watch it exactly. Don't and respect everybody's opinion. As you can see on the show, guys, we have a great time with all of you in the chats. I mean, with all our special guests. We have a lot of banter. Actually, have a lot of laughs, which is actually very good for the heart, I must say. On a side note,
Really quickly, I'm going to put you on the spot by here. A highlight this year of any podcast. What did you enjoy?
all of them. You can't put me under that type of pressure. Never will I fold. Never will I fold. I've enjoyed absolutely
Yeah.
everything since we started because it just brings us a chance to unite and
If
especially, I
anybody
mean,
if anybody's watching this, is there an episode you would urge them to go look at?
I mean, I would suggest that you just watch each and every one. I mean, it depends on who you want to see. If you want to see comments about Bournemouth and Aston Villa against the shite we know we're talking about, or Panther FC, or any one of the above,
Manchester
you can
United.
go and check them out. They've got headlines. I mean, even when we
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
other topics, player
yeah.
player rate not player ratings, but rumors, transfer rumors, what's going on at the club, new managers, etc., etc.
The channel is growing. Thank you to everybody who's a part of it. 167 now, and it's growing. Understand after the first year, channels start to really pick up pace. So we're anticipating this time next year being around 400, 500. Is that
Woo!
unrealistic?
Guys, please do us an honor and hit that subscribe button and join the family so we can just keep on going.
Until after Christmas, until after the holidays, everybody has have a safe, healthy, and remember, family's number one, most important. Be healthy out there, and be nice to your loved ones on this in this festive holiday of Christmas. We will see you on the other side. Come on, the Gooners, up the Arsenal.
Up
Thanks,
the Arsenal.
for coming in.
You're welcome, bro.
Later, bros.